ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूताले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनेति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौ भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। आप सभी का धन्यवाद। आज के प्रातःकालीन, नॉट प्रातःकालीन, सॉरी, आई मीन अर्ली मॉर्निंग our discussion, ongoing discussion NOI. Just one quick second. Sound enabled. Perfect. And so let's offer prayers to the Goswamis and then we'll start our discussion. Nana Shastra Vichar Sadharma Samsapakau Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane Manyo Sharanyakaro Radha Krishna Padaravinda Bhajana Nandana Mattali Gayo Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalakam Vande Rupa Sanatana Raghujugo Shri Jiva Gopalakam. Hare Krishna, resuming the discussion on text 7 of NOI. Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi Sitapya Vidya Prito Pataptara Sunasya Narochikanu Kintu Adaradanudinam Khalu Saiva Jushta Swadavi Kramadavati Tat Gadamulaham Tri. The holy name, character, pastimes, and activities of Krishna are all transcendently sweet like sugar candy. Although the tongue of one afflicted by the jaundice of Vidya cannot taste anything sweet, it is wonderful that simply by carefully chanting these sweet names every day, a natural relish awakens within his tongue, and his disease is gradually destroyed at the root. Hare Krishna. So. In my book, we are on 71 page. I have definitely an older version. In the new book, page number 80. So we're going to continue from there. Benefits of chanting, 3 stages of chanting, all that has been discussed. Srila Prabhupada described the disease condition. Just like somebody is sick, he takes medicine to recover. Similarly, we are suffering from material fever. And to rise above this, to get cured of this material fever, the medicine of chanting the holy names is prescribed. Then benefits of chanting is given, like that has been described. Prabhupada quotes, Hare Nam, Eva Kevalam. So this is the only remedy, at least for this age, day and time like this. So beginning our discussion now. When a person is relieved from unwanted things, okay, yeah. If one is sincere, he is initiated, and this stage is called Bhajana Kriya. Adhau Shraddha Ta Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya. That's what has been discussed. One actually engages in the service of the Lord by regularly chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, 16 rounds daily, refraining from illicit sex, intoxicants, meat eating, and gambling. By bhajana kriya, one attains freedom from the contamination of materialistic life. He no longer goes to a restaurant or hotel to taste so-called palatable dishes made with meat and onions. Nor does he care to smoke or drink tea or coffee. He not only refrains from illicit sex but avoids sex life entirely. Nor is he interested in wasting his time in speculating or gambling. In this way, it is to be understood that one is becoming cleansed of unwanted things. Anartha nivritti. Very interesting gradation Prabhupada offered. One is, um, no illicit sex, then sex only for the purpose of procreation, and then gradually becoming entirely free from any sexual activity, no inclination for sexual activity. Then Prabhupada says also not interested in going out and eating, no question of meat and onion. Not only that, he does not smoke. Not only that, he does not drink tea or coffee also. And then Prabhupada takes another level. He says, nor is he interested in wasting his time in speculating or gambling. This is so much, isn't it? A little bit reflect on this speculating and gambling. The moment the word gambling comes, it looks like gambling means, Yudhishthama playing a chaucer. Or what is gambling? Do you know about it? India में तो भी gambling शायद नहीं आया, fortunately इतना West में है. So we'll come back to it, gambling and speculating. Have you seen people they want to present their ideas, their thought process? I mean, कुछ भी विषय हो, they have to speak. They not speak, regardless of even if they don't know what they are speaking, but they have to speak. I mean, have you come across people like this? What does it indicate? We're not doing any naming and shaming here. We're trying to understand the fault line. What is a fault line? What happens? Huh? Okay, false ego is there. Correct. What else? What else? False ego is the baseline. Correct. What else? Not necessarily. That's also not. Okay, तो सोशल मीडिया पे चले गए, यूट्यूब पे बड़बड़ करते रहते हैं. Okay, okay. Well, that's a different angle. Okay, what else? Yeah, why? Okay. See, I want to show myself better. Correct. That is ingrained. I would say, let's give a benefit of doubt that we all have it, and we cannot get rid of it overnight. Okay. Why people speak is just that too restless. What I'm trying to say is somebody who blabbers and speaks anything has to speak on everything. It just indicates how restless one's mind is. What you're talking about, like this, these are the core things, core issues are there. But superficially also, if you see, is how restless one's mind is. First, he's restless in the sense he wants to speak more, listen less. And then everything else follows. अरे हम भी किसी से कम थोड़े ना, हमें भी सब पता है. Then show off and all that begins like this. So wasting his time. Have you seen one thing of wasting time is unnecessary debate? That's ego, where you want to justify that I know better than other, and we keep on arguing on something and all. So we see from the lives of Goswami Sri Chaitanya, don't get into any of these things. And again, I'll tell you, it would be just natural. If you feel like, क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं? Take care तू सही है मैं गलत हूँ. How does it matter? It just doesn't change any reality. We discussing about it if it's not, based on philosophy or based on some scriptural references. Even if a scriptural references, we can use scriptural references and keep on debating about it. Point is, what is the end goal you wanted? What is the goal that you're targeting? Is it something that is going to help? If the goal is that, if the way you think the truth is that comes out, just like argument between Vaishnavism and Mayavad. Now that's a healthy debate because it's meant to bring people on the right consciousness. Sometimes within devotee community, debate goes on certain subject matter, like female Diksha group. It's a hot topic for quite a good time. And what else is there? Okay. This is one of the hot topic. Many other things like this. I mean, if you haven't given us seva, do philosophical research, come back, write a paper, and discuss. Makes sense. Those who have got nothing to do with it, they start debate on it. And suddenly you see the parties get divided into uh, pro FDG and against FDG, which is nothing of your relevance to you. So that's the point. It's time in speculating and gambling actually means taking decisions by oneself. That's actually gambling. Make a decision by ourselves, not consulting, and to think what I'm thinking is right. That itself is called gambling. It's a big, big thing. For example, Yudhishthira Maharaj can be said gambled twice. First, what he did gambling, and second, it could be said that he did not. That's what Krishna, when he came back, when they were in Kamyaka 1, when Krishna was just a couple of days only when they've gone into the forest, when Krishna came to meet. At that time, Krishna chastised Yudhishthira Maharaj. How can you play gambling match? Why didn't you consult it? I mean, okay, you were lost once and you went twice. Why did you do that? So Krishna knew Yudhishthira was bound by his commitment to follow the advice of senior. But Krishna said, even you knew it's going to destroy you. Why didn't you consult it? So Draupadi actually asked, my dear Lord, where were you? We were in this tribulation. Why didn't you save us? So then Krishna asked, what saved? Yudhishthira didn't ask only. Why didn't you ask? So he did gambling twice. One he played, and second with this, just he went around his decision like that. So that's what it means by speculation and gambling. In this way, just to be understood that one is becoming cleansed. So when these things become minimum, less by less, that means you're getting purified of anarthas. The word anartha refers to unwanted things. Nirmalam. What is a devotee is identified as nirmalam, pure, and almost transparent. Have you seen? You remember Garud Ganga? It was a transparent water. That is the heart of a devotee. I mean, that is something our aspiration. That is something we should be. It's just transparent, not covered by our ichcha, dvesh, opinions, biases, and whatnot. I mean, it's a huge task for us to get reformed. We have our likes, dislikes, we own biases, we have our own opinions, we own our judgmental way of looking at things. It's a huge task. It's a huge task. It doesn't go easy. It takes a lot of time. Anarthas are vanquished when one becomes attached to the Krishna consciousness movement. Beautiful point. I was making this point yesterday. I don't know if it was on the record or after that. That do you feel ISKCON is my house? Do you feel this is my family? That's the point. Nothing gonna change otherwise. Nothing. Brahmacharis, so 200%. Brahmacharis ashram, this is my house, this is my family. And that's the reason just before this, we were talking about the kitchen standard. I was making a point, this is not mess. This is kitchen. This is like our kitchen. Just like you feel at home, mothers cook for you. Similarly, our kitchen department should serve in that mood of a mother, that they care for you. And similarly, you should also feel like this is our house, our place. Not that because I'm giving some rent, so I'm getting. So we, in our action, our behavior, planning and serving, we have to get rid of all this, this mess idea, PG idea and all that. Then only you can have a conducive environment. Otherwise, it's very bad, particularly for brahmacharis who are handling these departments, or any department, from BT department to rent department to anything. They should function in such a way they feel like, everyone should feel. I mean, ideally condition your state of consciousness, you should not feel that you're giving a rent. Very bad consciousness. You should feel like I'm supporting the ashram. This is a contribution I need to make to support the ashram because this is my house. Otherwise, how would this ashram continue? That is the right consciousness. Therefore, whenever anyone comes here, I'm very particular. What's your mood when you're coming in? And I'm making this point to all those who are handling this different department. Please be in that consciousness. And all of you should also see it. Our behavior should be like this, in that way. Anarthas are vanquished when one becomes attached to the Krishna consciousness movement. Wow. Hari bol, kahan hai hamare quote wale Baba? Ira, you got a quote, Srila Prabhupada quote. This is what you want to put it. Anathas are vanquished when one becomes attached to the Krishna consciousness movement, like that. So. Yeah, I mean, seeing devotees as our family members, seeing Guru as our, this all in all for us, our ashram, our temple community, we should have a sense of feeling, this is my family. Imagine somebody calls for help from your family. Wouldn't you give all kind of help, financial help, your help of your time and energy, isn't it? So we should feel the same thing. That, something is needed, I need to do it. Not we say, "Acha, wo bhi nahi kar raha, to main bhi nahi kar raha." Very bad setup. When a person is relieved from unwanted things, he becomes fixed in executing his Krishna activities. Indeed, he becomes attached to such activities and experiences ecstasy in executing devotional service. Wow. So this is a stage of Nishtha Ruchi. And Prabhupada calls Bhava. This is what you reach the stage of Bhava. I mean, we are Sankirtan, we have to come and practice together. If we cannot identify with the Vaishnavas as our family members, if we cannot identify the ashram as my house, my place, how do you get over anathas? Impossible. See, gross anathas, we can, on our capacity, we can handle. But subtle anathas, we can only overcome on the strength of a relationship with our Guru. Because Maya is extremely powerful. The only thing that can save us at that point of time, how can I do this? If I behave like this, what face would I show to my mentors who have taken so much pain to train me and they have had such a high expectation of me? How can I behave like this? Otherwise, impossible. And in fact, training should be focused on creating this kind of relationship where a person knows and person feels. Otherwise, how would we be able to deal with the temptations? I've said it many times, you're staying here, certain thing is happening here. When you go away, what you do? That is between you and Paramatma. And are you going to be here for always? Ain't going to happen. Even I as a brahmachari, am I always in brahmachari ashram? It ain't going to happen. I am too hardly there. I'm always traveling. And I'm traveling with them almost from the beginning. Now I'm almost hardly 3-4 days I'm in ashram, temple ashram. That is almost out. How can you sustain? Then because of your strength of your chanting, because you have memorized shlokas, Bhagavad Gita shlokas, because you have memorized Bhagavatam shlokas, they're only making you proud at your state right now. Knowledge only becomes a burden on the head, unless you have cultivated the right attitudes. So very important. Bhakti Swami Maharaj used to pay a lot of attention to this. He has very, very beautiful quotations. I'll share some of that. I have it. Like this. Hare Krishna. Somebody is getting unmuted. Sudhir Prabhu. So see, unmute ho rahe bar. ठीक है. This is called Bhava, the preliminary awakening of dormant love of Godhead. Thus, a conditioned soul becomes free from material existence, loses interest in the bodily concept life, including material opulence, material knowledge, and material attraction of all variety. At such a time, one can understand who the Supreme Personality Godhead is and what his Maya is. See, we can, to a certain extent, follow 4 rags, we can chant to some extent 16 hours, but we really cannot grow unless we have developed an attachment for Vaishnava. You cannot grow. You can, to a certain extent, I would say, you can come to the human platform. As Chaitanya decides, human platform is to follow 4 regular principles. This is human consciousness. But to really rise to devotee consciousness, therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur written a beautiful song. O he Vaishnava Thakur, Doyara Sagra, Idasi Karuna Kori. It cannot happen if in our heart we have not developed an attraction, and then it should lead to attachment for a Vaishnava. And we love serving that Vaishnava. Ain't gonna happen. Forget about you're getting over another and everything. Nothing. To some extent, we'll have some resemblance of bhakti. We cannot cause it. No way. Although Maya may be present, it cannot disturb a devotee once he attains the Bhava stage. This is because the devotees can see the real position of Maya. Any examples of the point I was making? Look at Srila Prabhupada's surrender and attachment to his spiritual master. How do we know his attachment? Because he dedicated his life in following the instruction of his spiritual master. That is attachment. Attachment does not mean to a to the vapu. Attachment means to the vani. My spiritual master, my guru, or my shiksha guru have said this. How can I not do this? Let me quote here, Bhakti Swami Maharaj. So he often used to say, when Maya troubles you, when you are tempted, and when you're, becoming very distracted about it, before you give in, ask yourself, if my Guru Maharaj or if my mentor, Shiksha Guru would be here, how would I feel? How would he feel if I give into this temptation? And that was his strength of dealing with all the temptations and challenges in life. And he inculcated this practice in his disciples. So I often used to hear from his disciples, this particular one, if you deal with Maya, deal with anarthas, how can I behave? If anything, for example, somebody have told you something and you're becoming angry and you feel like conditioned nature, revenge mentality. Isko to main batane wala hu. Hey, wait a second, pause. You're a devotee now. How would your guru feel if he gets to know that you behave like this? That's a devotee platform. Otherwise, it ain't working. We're doing ritualistically. And maybe you may not, those of you staying here may not have that experience because you're staying in a close proximity. When you'll be on your own to live a life on your own, to resolve the conflict on your own, then you will be, I would say, hammered like anything by Maya. It's an everyday challenge. Yeah. So I had recently making point about ritualistic practice and spiritual practice. 2 days before also I spoke on that, like that. So that attachment, and from attachment to a devotee, then attachment to Krishna develops. Kanishta platform is, you see that, how Kanishta platform functions? Devotees are the picture. They think my chanting, my reading will give me attachment to Krishna. Therefore, they don't pay attention to devotees. Are you seeing that? If in case in your life there is no devotee who is there to whom you really want to serve and please, and to whom you give the priority, and only in your life is Krishna as a priority, that's Kanishta. We cannot. We are serving everything we're doing. Look at Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Pasha. They say, we don't know Krishna. Rupa Goswami, they are saying, we don't know Krishna. Krishna ke baare mein kitabein likhi, they don't know Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we know you only. Because we know you, then we know Krishna. We don't know anyone else. So that's a mood. You may say Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is himself Lord Shri Krishna. But the point is, he was in the mood of a devotee. Look at Srila Prabhupada's attachment to his guru, and look at Prabhupada's disciples' attachment to Prabhupada. I mean, how come? Chalo, apna to conditioning itna bura nahi hai. Somebody who has been seriously addicted to bad habits, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex, meat, eating, addicted. How can they give it up and not have relapse? And not to have relapse. They had such a strong attachment to Prabhupada. What would Prabhupada think? Remember Giriraj Maharaj example? Giriraj Maharaj is in Bombay, and Mr. Sethi, I believe, who had, from whom they were negotiating for the land purchase. So he had Nair, and he had sent a prostitute to Giriraj Maharaj. She came and sat next to Giriraj Maharaj and started to caress his thighs and put her hand on his body like this. And Giriraj Maharaj he was shocked that Rishyashinga, right? That Brahmana, Ramayan pastime, when the king of Mithila sent the young damsels in the dress of a sadhu, because there was no rainfall, right? And when they went to that sage, the father was not there, son was there, and he thought, let me do Vaishnava Seva, and he just massaged the feet. He got electric shock. This is what is a human, male and female interaction. He got an attractive shock. He said, I'm attached to massaging your feet. It feels so nice like that. So it's a very, for a brahmachari just to touch it can be really an electric shock. Imagine she comes and start touching the body of Raj Maharaj. It was a shock. And Maharaj, it was bewildering. Maharaj says, I was like, oh, Prabhupada ko pata chalega to kya hoga. He said, that gave me the strength to walk out of the situation. Because lust is hidden. And when you put in this opportunity in in kind of privacy, anything can happen. Maharaj said, this is what saved me. Oh, if I do this, something happens, Prabhupada's name would go bad, Prabhupada's reputation go bad. That's how he walked away. He not even quoting कोई श्लोका, ध्यायतो विषयान् पुंसः. ऐसे नहीं भगवत श्लोका सुना रहे थे वहां बैठे बैठे कि मैं कितना बड़ा ज्ञानी हूँ. Or he was looking at the lady and saying, you are like a snake. बताया गया शास्त्रों में. Not like that. What was the strength? Relationship. So. Kanishta does not have that. Kanishta does not have, cannot have it. That is why it's Kanishta. Be things मैं जो भी करूँगा भगवान के लिए करूँगा. Like that. Fine. So where were we? Maya means forgetfulness of Krishna, the forgetfulness of Krishna and Krishna consciousness stand side by side like light and shadow. If one remains in shadow, he cannot enjoy the facilities offered by light. And if one remains in light, he cannot be disturbed by the darkness of shadow. Therefore, it amazes me. People take initiation. Fellows don't even hear to their spiritual master. Initiation lena hai. Have you heard from your spiritual master? Every week, minimum one lecture should be heard. Those who are initiated, those who are aspiring. Who else would you hear? Minimum one lecture should be heard. So when I take interview, very first question I ask, when was the last time you heard a lecture? And somebody says, Prabhu ji, जब गुरु महाराज हमारे आए थे 6 महीने पहले, तब सुना था. मैं कहा, get out. तो किस लिए दीक्षा ले रहा है? मतलब तेरे को इतना भी नहीं सिखाया दीक्षा के लिए बैठ रहा है. Compulsory every week there should be a lecture. How would you build a relationship? Whom are you serving? The job of a mentor is to connect and enhance your relationship with the Guru, not to become like a wall in between you and Guru. And he should facilitate, create a culture where every week, there is some hearing of Guru Maharaj's lecture. And now on WhatsApp, so many there. Everyone have their respective groups. So many devotees are facilitating that their God brothers can hear what the spiritual master has to say. So many forums are there. They don't hear to the spiritual master, they don't hear to Prabhupada. Whose mission are you serving? If not, at least develop attachment to Prabhupada. Make Prabhupada life and soul. How will you make Prabhupada life and soul? There's no reading of Prabhupada books. There's no hearing of his lecture. What? We're just creating a Kanishtas only, na? We're just creating a whole group of Kanishtas. What Kanishtas, if you have Kanishtas only around? Kanishtas are known for rejoicing, relishing. Their highest taste is fighting with each other. And that's the reason you see in community, there are only fights going on. There are fault finding, criticizing, all that. Oh, very bad, very bad. If one remains in shadow, he cannot enjoy the facilities offered by the light. And when in light, he cannot disturb the dark and shadow. By taking to Krishna consciousness, one gradually becomes liberated and remains in light. Indeed, it does not even touch the dark, as compared in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And because of this whole social media and YouTube and whatnot, people are listening to all those devotees who they have never met also. That is not the process of your spiritual training. Such hearing should be the last hearing. If when you have heard Prabhupada's lecture, when you heard one lecture of your spiritual master, when you heard from your mentors, then if your time permit, then you can hear for your entertainment. Why entertainment? Because intellectual gets intellectual gratification, because this following devotees quotes many shlokas. Unless there is a relationship with the speaker, unless you can directly interact with the speaker and ask a question and speaker can speak to you, transformation does not happen. What gets delivered or downloaded is knowledge. And my concern is when a fellow gets knowledge, uska head बहुत भारी हो जाता है. He becomes very restless. Therefore, the Kanishta says, first of all, they should have a lot of physical services so that they can dry out their lust. And then they go into the level of, trying to become Jnani, where they're trying to read, going in details and depth of it. There should be Prabhupada book reading 1 hour every day, no doubt about it, 1 hour, 2 hours as time permits. For brahmacharis, maybe 1.5 hours, but there should be a lot of physical service. It's a very tricky thing. It's a very tricky thing. Otherwise, वो बैठा बैठा speculate करता रहता, कुछ भी सोचता रहता है यार. And imagine, would it happen or not? Who would not get this doubt, thinking that, यार ये तो मुझे भी पता है, वो सामने वाला क्या बोल रहा है. बहुत अंतर है तेरे को पता होने में, सामने वाले के बोलने में. You know, but you don't have a practice. It's a huge difference. That, but will not get it because the head has already become heavy. Because once you get into a pride, then you don't see anyone else better than you. So that all problem arises. So, Krishna Surya Sama Maya Indakara Jaha Krishna Taha Nahi Maya Radhikara. Krishna is compared to sunshine and Maya is compared to darkness. Wherever there is sunshine, there cannot be darkness. As soon as one takes to Krishna consciousness, the darkness of illusion, the influence of the external energy will immediately vanish. Srila Rupa Goswami Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu mentions about how to go from Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti to Raganuga stage. Does anyone know how do you move from Vaidhi Sadhana Bhakti to Raganuga stage? What does Srila Rupa Goswami talks about? Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Anyone? Yes, Abhishek Prabhu?
When Vaishnavas are pleased, when Hare Vaishnavas are pleased, then
Lord Krishna himself responds. Yeah, but what does it mean, Raganuga Bhakti?
You are completely attached to the.
Wrong answer. Raganuga Bhakti. What is Raganuga Bhakti? Even this is part of Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti means to follow in the footsteps of Ragatmika Bhaktas. You have to be attached to some Ragatmika Bhakta and then further cultivate your mood and emotions of devotional service following the footstep of that Ragatmika Bhakta. You see that? You cannot approach Krishna. Now, before you can develop attachment to Ragatmika Bhakta, anyone, that is means from the history, all that we know in the pages of scriptures who are eternally reside in the spiritual world, how can you, when you have not developed that attachment for a living devotee? How can we, when you not develop attachment for a devotee who is living in this world, how can we move forward to the next stage and develop thoughts of following somebody who you cannot interact now? Like Srila Rupa Goswami, I want to follow the first Srila Rupa Goswami. Yes, like him. But how would you, when you have not practiced before while building that relationship with the devotee who is living here? So these are things. This is the way of moving forward. Otherwise, we kind of living like Gyanis and things like that. My strength, I'll make progress. So therefore, our how do we build relationship? By following instructions. ये भी अगर आप देखेंगे, I'm kind of giving you a whole gist of what I know I have discussed so far. Why I know I had to, if there is an instruction for sadhaka to make progress, why I know I had to, dedicate almost literally 3 shlokas on how to deal with Vaishnavas. Now, 11 shlokas, we are on the 7th shloka right now. 8, 9, 10, 11 has a different concept. We'll come back tomorrow on that. Tomorrow when we meet next time. Out of the first 7 instructions, 3 instructions are focused on dealing with Vaishnavas. ये Vaishnavas का मतलब ही नहीं है हमारे जीवन में. So then why Rupa Goswami would focus so much? Dadati Pratikranti, first of all, he spoke about how to develop a loving relationship with whom? Was it Krishna or devotees? Now in that also with whom? At Kanishta stage, I've said it many times, at Kanishta stage, our vertical connection should be very strong, not peer connection. At Madhyama, our peer connection naturally becomes very strong. So with whom you have to do that? Dadati, Pranigata, Granati, Guya, Makati, Prachati, Bunkate, Bojate, Chaiva. With your peers or with a senior? How are we applying it? Guya, Makati, Prachati, which means I share my heart and I receive instructions. When I receive instruction, what instruction have I received and how am I practicing? How am I following? Then comes Krishneti Yasya Giritam Manasadriyeta. Then how to offer respect to different gradations of devotees again. And then how not to see faults. Out of 7 instructions, 3 for that, 7th is for chanting the holy names, which means 3 is only for fixing our attitude. First 2, what to be given up, and 3rd, what to accept. 3 for that, and 3 for Vaishnava Sangha. Imagine. Everyone is self-absorbed in today's world, self-conscious. How should I behave and all that? If you go to in front of the deity, what do we pray? Hey Prabhu, मेरे को इस problem से छुटकारा दिला दो. हाँ है ना? अपना ही रहता है. We are so self-absorbed about it. But look at that. There are only 50% work. Other 50%, in fact, I would say 80 to 90% work is Vaishnava association. How often have we prayed for our devotees? How often we have prayed for the devotee who's taking care of us? Now, would you pray for your mother, father, brother, sister? How often have you prayed for devotees? Investigate your heart. Look where we are. Is ISKCON my family? Is devotee community my family? Or are we still acting as a Mayavadi even in the devotee community? Mayavadi क्या? अपना काम से काम रखो, जितना मतलब मिल रहा है लो, एडवांटेज लो, हो गया, निकल जाओ. No give and take. कुछ मतलब नहीं. But Vaishnava community is a family. So our heart is becoming softer. We are actually generally developing that mood of a Vaishnava. And if start treating each other in that way. If not, at least have that relationship with our seniors. I mean, if never ever a prayer has gone for our spiritual master, or let's say for our Shiksha Guru, my dear Lord, please give them strength, protect them, help them, or whatever. Not help them, what will you say for helping them? Give them long life, etc. I mean, prayer goes for whom? For whom you genuinely feel affection. So you know where your affection is. So why would Krishna help? How would Krishna reciprocate? Very, very, very important. These are subject matter which I would discuss in details as part of our NOI study in Bhakti Shastri. But we are coming here to a conclusion. After this is all about what is the best place to, dham, where to reside and all that. That we'll just read it. So I just wanted to conclude this section on a few pointers to get us on thinking. We are still too self-absorbed. It's only about I. It's only about I. Therefore, because of this I, we don't change, we don't improve. I mean, tell me this thing, if I've taken shelter of Krishna, why am I still confused, bewildered, and struggling in my life? There shouldn't be. If I've taken shelter of the absolute truth, there shouldn't be any confusion in my life. There should only be clarity. And if it's not there, it means there's something wrong in my relationship with the Lord. Am I still having dissatisfaction of heart? Why am I not rejoicing? Why not finding joy? Why am I not in bliss? There is something wrong in my relationship with the Lord. And that's the Kanishta stage. That's what happens. So this is why NOI, a fantastic book. Think about it. Why would otherwise he would speak 3 for yourself and 3 also 2 what should be given or 1 what you should ask for, and then focuses on the next 3 verse about devotee relationship, devotee sangha, how to offer respect, what should be the etiquettes and everything. And what I have said now from this perspective, look in the lives of any great devotee that you know of. How was their relationship with Vaishnavas? How was their relationship with their Diksha Gurus, Shiksha Gurus, or teachers, whatever you want to call it? How did they live their life? Then Syat Krishna Nama Charitadi. This shloka then begins to make sense. Because we chanting attentively is not a question of our physical endeavor or mental endeavor or intellectual endeavor. It's a subject matter of grace. Progress in bhakti happens through grace. Now, let me tell you this thing. See if it makes sense or not. Many times people say, Prabhuji, please pray for me. Prabhuji, please bless us, etc., which is all good, fine. We all do that. But think about it. Now, imagine you as a leader, you as a mentor, you as a teacher, whatever one. Imagine somebody is obedient and does a nice service. It's like, what do you say, Mr. Accountable, Mr. Reliable. Very conscious, attentive listener, and does it very pakka job. Would you naturally pray for him or no? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Yes.
That's it. Think about it. I mean, why we fail to understand such basic concepts? Now you would be more worried about his protection and his growth than he himself would be. Well, such a wonderful Vaishnava. My dear Lord, please, please save him, please protect him, please guide him. The mercy flows. What did that Vaishnava did? He just served nicely. He became attentive in his relationship. That's it. That's it. Apna kya hai? There's too much Mayavadi impersonal tendencies. This is what Kanishta platform. मैं 16 माला कर रहा हूँ, मैं 4 नियम कर रहा हूँ, तो मैं बहुत महान भक्त हो गया हूँ, मैं भक्ति में बहुत प्रगति कर रहा हूँ. You ain't doing anything. Nothing. This is because we have given you a culture. Don't become proud of it. That's the reason. Otherwise, let's say for the congregation, those who were staying in India, what you have been staying for all these years, why didn't you practice bhakti then? If you're so great about it. And those of you staying here, you had been staying as a corporate guy elsewhere. Why didn't you practice bhakti? You're so great. There's no greatness. We're just a mercy case. But back and again, this false ego pops up. I'm so great. I'm so great. It doesn't work like this. So we should remember what had been our situation and think, do the reverse equation. To whom would I, if I am a leader, if I'm a mentor, would I ever pray for somebody? Why wouldn't you pray? If you see a Vaishnava is a sincere Vaishnava, you would pray. And imagine if the devotees pray for you. Who can stop your progress? It's a floodgate of mercy. Now somebody who is trying to chant, wake up at 2 o'clock, chant 32 rounds, falana dikana, memorize karne mein laga, kuch nahi hone wala uska. Because that's jnani, not bhakta. Bhakta is, as Bhaktivinoda Thakur said, Ohe Vaishnava Thakara, Dayara Sagara, Idase Karuna, Koi, Diya Pada Chaya, Dehoe Amare. Like this beautiful song. The last line of the song is very, very beautiful. Krishna, Krishna Boli, Amitava Pache Pache. Like this, something goes on. I'm running behind you, calling Krishna, Krishna. Because you have Krishna, you can only give Krishna. And therefore another song Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, Amito Tumara Kukura. I'm your dog. You're my master. So if we have a right, therefore Srila Prabhupada begins this NOI. Look at the preface. What Prabhupada says in preface? Prabhupada says, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. Preface. This is 3rd, 4th, 5th, the last paragraph, first line. Advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. I mean, I'll disconnect the online thing, then I'll make a point about my own experience. I don't want this to be recorded, but this is just a point about it. Ain't. So I guess our time is up. I'll disconnect the online thing.